Section 21 of the Fables of Pilpay. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Fables of Pilpay by Anonymous, translated by Abdullah Ibn al-Muqaffa and Joseph Harris. Fable 13. The Lion and the Rabbit. In the neighbourhood of Mianstol there was a very delightful meadow, where several wild beasts had taken up their habitations by reason of the pleasantness of the place. Among those creatures there was a furious lion, who disturbed the peace of all the rest with his continual murders. In order to remedy this dreadful evil, one day they met all together, went to wait upon the lion, and laid their case before him, that they were his subjects, and by consequence that it no way became him to make every day such dreadful slaughters among them, of whole families together. You seek after us, added they, to rule over us, but though we are proud of a king of so much valour, yet in fear we avoid you. Would you live peaceably with us, and enjoy your quiet, by letting us alone, we would bring you every morning sufficient and delicate food. Nor should you ever want to crown your meals with a flasket of tame and wild fowl, and you should yourself never be put to the toil of hunting. The lion readily accepted this proposal, and the beasts cast lots every morning, and he upon whom the lot fell was appointed to hunt for the lion. One day the lot fell upon a rabbit, who, seeing he could not avoid it, after he had summoned all the beasts together, said to them, "You see how miserable a life it is we lead here. Either we must be eaten ourselves, or spend our labour to feed a churlish master. Now, hear what I have to propose. Do you but stand by me, and I will certainly deliver you from this cruel tyrant that reigns over us." To this they all unanimously answered that they would do their utmost. Upon this the rabbit stayed in his hole till the hour of dinner was past, and made no provision for the lion. By this time the lion's anger augmented with his appetite. He lashed the ground with his tail, and at length perceiving the rabbit, "Whence come you?" said he, "and what are my subjects doing? Do they suppose I accepted their proposal and spared their lives, to be kept without victuals by their idleness? Be assured, if I wait much longer, they shall, some of them, severely pay for it." "May it please your majesty to hear me," answered the rabbit, bowing to him with a profound respect. "Your subjects, sacred sir, have not been wanting in their duty. They sent me hither to bring your majesty your accustomed provision, but I met a lion by the way who took it from me. I told him, when he seized it, that it was for the king, to which he most insolently answered that there was no other king in this country but himself. Struck dumb with this monstrous behaviour, I left him, and ran to inform your majesty of this heinous piece of insolence." The lion, on this, furiously turning about his burning eyes, cried out, "Who is this audacious usurper that dares to lay his paw upon my food, which my subjects had laboured to provide for me? Canst thou show me where the audacious traitor lives?" "Yes, sir," replied the rabbit, "if you will be pleased to follow me." The lion, breathing revenge and destruction, followed the wily rabbit, and when they came to a well that was full of clear water, "Sir," said the rabbit, "your enemy lives in this well. I dare not show him you, but only be pleased to look in yourself, and you will see him. Have a care, however, that yourself is not first assailed." With that the lion went stalking to the well, and seeing the reflection of his own image, which he took to be another lion in the water, that had devoured his food, inflamed with anger, he flung himself into the well to encounter this mortal foe, and there was drowned himself. This fable shows you that a strong person may be destroyed by one that is much weaker when he is not mistrusted. "Well, well," said Kalilah, "if you can ruin the ox without doing the lion any harm, go on and prosper. If not, I advise you to give over your enterprise, for it does not become a subject, for his own private interest and repose, to suffer any mischief to befall his prince." Here the confabulation between Dimna and Kalilah ended, and Dimna, having taken leave of his wife, absented himself for some time from the lion's court. Afterwards he returned, and affecting an air of sadness before his majesty, "Honest Dimna," said the king to him, "whence comest thou? Where hast thou been this long time? Is there any news abroad?" "Yes, sir. answered Damna with a deep sigh. There is news indeed, such news as I dread to speak, yet such as your majesty ought to hear. On this the king, starting for fear, cried out, What is it? I beg your majesty, replied Damna, since you will hear it, that you will be pleased to grant me a private audience. Affairs of importance ought never to be delayed, replied the king, and so, commanding the room to be immediately cleared, ordered Damna to speak what he had to say. It is requisite, said that wily minister, that the bearer of ill news should have the address to give it an allay, and it is also most necessary that he to whom it is reported should be able to judge whether the person that makes the report to be worthy to be credited, or whether he speak falsely, and for the sake of his own interest, and if he be worthy to be believed, he ought to be entirely confided in, when his discourse may be advantageous to the public, or, what is yet of greater consequence, to the sovereign himself. On this the lion interrupting him, Thou knowest, said he, that I have experienced thy fidelity, and therefore speak boldly what thou hast to say. The purity of my intentions, continued Damna, have made me to assume this boldness, and I am more than happy to be known to your majesty. I question not thy zeal, said the lion, but prithee come to this news, which it so much concerns me to know. When Damna received the good success of his flatteries, and that the king had confidence in him, he thus began his discourse. Sir, said he, I am sorry to relate it, but my excellently esteemed friend, and your majesty's great favourite, Cohotorbe, has daily conferences with the grandees and chieftains of your army, and I know that in them he improves every circumstance as much as he lies in his power, to your majesty's prejudice, which makes me believe he has some design upon your sacred person. I grieve to tell you this, and am not less astonished than angry when I reflect that he should so ungratefully abuse your favours, and the particular friendship with which you are pleased to honour him. Damna, cried the lion, take care what thou sayest. Thou art accusing one of whom I have a settled good opinion. But if this be true, what course is to be taken? Sir, replied Damna, there are two sorts of people in the world, one sage and prudent, the other rash and inconsiderate. The one are always at a loss when any accident befalls them, the other always foresee things, and therefore nothing moves them, whatever happened. We ought, sir, to imitate their prudence, and secure ourselves from danger, so soon as we have the least notice or intimation of it. There are also, besides these, yet another sort of people who, I have observed, never truly foresee danger, but, however, know how to take their proper courses when it presents itself, and these three characters put me in mind of the fable of the three fishes, which I would tell your majesty, did I not fear it would offend your patience. The lion, on this, commanded Damna to let him hear it out. So Damna thus proceeded. End of section 21. Read by Hannah Dormer, London, 5th of March 2021.